Okay, so here's some context for the video you're about to see. Yeah, my son's just turned 17. He has his driving test in 12 days. My sister announced that she had a car for sale. She lives in Brisbane. I'm in Perth, 4,340 kilometres away. There's a catch though. The car is broken. It has a gearbox issue. It's a Ford Focus 2012, and it's one of the DSG Auto boxes. Those of you who know them hate them. Yeah, it's got an apparent TCM transmission control module issue, which sort of sporadically locks out reverse, second, fourth and sixth gears, which obviously is a safety issue for her daughter, and it would be for my son. So hope you enjoy the Mercy Dash to Brisbane and the subsequent shenanigans that ensue. Okay, so it's almost 10:15 on a Friday night, and I'm about to catch a red-eye flight to Brisbane, Vegas, to pick up a car for my son and drive it back to Perth. Hey Will, this is for you, mate. So it's a 4.5 hour flight, and I'll set off first thing Monday morning. Got to be back for Will's birthday on Friday, so it's going to be pretty hectic. See you on the road. Okay, so I arrived at Brisbane Airport, and not wishing to name and shame, but that lady there in the green, she was sitting behind me, and she kept putting her foot through between the two seats and on my arm / lap, and I pushed so hard on her leg to get her foot back, and she pushed back. She was asleep with a stupid grin on her face, and I ended up wedging the foot up above the head of the passenger beside me to get it out of there. It was so bad, it was funny. So yeah, long trip, as hot as anything, but yeah, we're here. It's 5:25 and just waiting for an Uber. Alright, so riding along in this beast, gearbox is not happy. I'll see if I can show you what it's doing. Good chance here to see what's going on. So we're coming up to satellites. It's not going to stall out, but it's not having the best time. Alright, so okay, green light. So I take off normally. It revs out, can't find a gear. Eventually picks a gear, but it doesn't get into top gear, I don't think. It's just it's all over the shop. I can drive it. Actually, I've got to change lanes here. Sorry everyone. I can drive it on the accelerator as if it's an auto that's slipping. So you back off just before it changes gear. My hope is that it's not actually slipping clutches while it's doing all this, because that would lose drive very quickly. Alright, so this is And to troubleshooting, really, but the only bit I really wanted to show, I'm going to go home and change the engine mount. It's got a crappy engine mount which is transmitting quite a lot of vibration through the steering, so I want to get rid of that. Alright, later. Okay, I've picked up some tools and I'm starting to get under the car. I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. Let me get back up first. So, we have container to capture whatever comes out, some brake clean, and some WD-40. This is a temporary fix only. What's happening, and that's some e-Torx, so a female version of Torx bits. What's happening is you've got two actuators. I'll point to one of them in a sec, I'll just explain. So one actuator looks after first, third and fifth gear, and the other actuator looks after reverse, second, fourth and sixth gear. Now, and reverse, did I say reverse? Not sure. That's the actuator that's having trouble. So that describes perfectly the behavior at traffic lights. So you go to take off, takes off fine in first gear, it hunts for second, flares like a slipping automatic, kind of then finds third. I think it's probably programmed to search for the next gear, so on and so forth, but it only ever gets to fifth, it won't get sixth, and of course when it's hot it won't get reverse. Sorry, when it's hot it won't do all of those things, reverse 2, 4 and 6. So that's somewhat positive, I think, insofar as when it's cold you do have access to those gears, so it's probably just starting to bind up. So the objective here is to get some brake clean where the actuator goes, or clean the clutch fork that the actuator actuates, and then give it some light lubricant with WD-40. Like I say, it's only temporary, but it ought to get me home at least. And by the looks of it, it's quite an easy little job. So I'll show you. So the reverse actuator. If you've got enough light under here, so we pull this down. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it. I haven't got light. Let me just try something else. All right, so I've already taken the little clips out of this. Now, that is the actuator there with the 4 Torx bolts holding it on. So just need to take that off, those 4 bolts, get in there and give it a good spray. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, so I already cracked them loose. They weren't incredibly tight. There was a transmission specialist that my brother-in-law took the car to, and what he did was he swapped A with B and B with A actuator. And the strange thing was he confirmed that B position, which is this one, was where the fault was. So what he was trying to prove is if he swapped them, he was trying to prove that he had a blown actuator. He didn't successfully prove that. Instead, he proved that this position was funny, which I would agree with, actually. So yeah, let's get this off. I'm not going to be able to fit you under here. We'll get you a bit of a look though. Okay, so that just comes off. You can see the dust and dirt in there. It's not a properly sealed unit, and that's all clutch friction material. And what it does is it just gets stuck in there. It sort of cakes it and bakes it and breaks it. So okay, so we'll get that out of the way. We'll get busy with a bit of brake clean, and I'm going to try and capture all the crap in a yogurt container. Alright, leave me to it. Okay, now this stuff does evaporate pretty quickly. Oh. Yeah, there's some certainly some black residue in there. I am going to see if I can find something that will turn that shaft in there. That's a 6mm 14 spline apparently. You can buy a specific tool, but again, the lead time is prohibitive. I think maybe a screwdriver might be the solution there. I'll just give it a go. Okay, so I've done WD-40 and cleaner. So it really just remains to be seen whether that sort of debris is enough to jam that sucker. Incidentally, I could get the screwdriver in and turn anti-clockwise. Didn't meet any resistance, so it seems to be okay. Alright, well, not holding out much hope for a solution there, but I'm going to put it back together and take it for a test ride. Okay, slight change in plan. Rather than take it for a test drive now, things have cooled down a little bit engine-wise. It's still stinking hot in here. I'm going to change this engine mount out. So all I need to do is get a jack under the engine to support it. We're taking the coolant reservoir out of the way to get under it, and this is the engine mount in here, so I might even take that off too so we can get into there. 4 bolts, and she should come out pretty easily. Alright, engine mount's out. This is the old one, obviously. It's thoroughly knackered. It's dead, and there's a new one. Oh, it's rigid. Alright, ready to go back in. Well, it's the next day. There's good news and there's bad news. I did put the tools down after I'd done the engine mount. It worked out really well, beautifully smooth. What I can't say the same for is the transmission repair. I took it for a 10-minute drive, biggest smile on my face. Yes, it's fixed. No check engine light. Engine mount can transform the car, honestly. It's gone from having vibrations left, right and centre to just being smooth again. And yeah, I did about 10 minutes and it threw up the check light again. So I'm not sure. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. Done a bit of a scout around for parts. I might have been able to get a replacement transmission control module. That didn't really pan out today, Sunday. But I did one last couple of things. The first was I took the earth mount off, and on a Focus, you've got the earth strap. The SAD cable attaches to the firewall by a pretty standard loop, but the paint is still on the connection point, and it relies on the threads transmitting current to earth, or vice versa. Anyway, so yeah, I sanded all the paint off and gave it a clean set of threads and bolted it all back together. And I have been driving the city now for 20 minutes. I've stopped 3 times to get final supplies, and it is still working like a normal car. Check engine light went off, which is, I've never seen that happen before. And all's well, so I'm going to start the journey tomorrow, young Will, on the Monday morning, as early as I can, and we will see if we can continue the trend of a fixed Ford Focus for you. Yeah, so hopeful. We'll see how it happens. I'll keep you all updated. Okay, well, it's day 1 and about 5 in the morning, setting off now. I'm actually just leaving Brisbane, the Western Freeway. So I'll get over into this lane. So what can I say? we're completely fault-free for now, and hopefully on this trip I'm not going to have to revert back to a status update every 5 seconds on this transmission, but so far so good. So we're off, and next stop I think will be Gundawindi. Alright, we're motoring along towards Toowoomba. We've been going for 78.4 kilometres approximately, through traffic, light traffic in Brisbane. Beautiful drive up here. Everything's pretty green, they've had plenty of rain. The car is running beautifully, there's nothing wrong with it. That earth strap, SAD cable, whatever you want to call it, where it attaches to the chassis of the car, where there was paint instead of a actual metal on metal contact. I think I'm going to call it fixed. I don't want to jinx myself, but 70, nearly 80 k's now, and everything's fine. Now, fuel consumption 6.6 to the 100 so far, and over 800 k's range remaining after nearly 80 k's. So that's brilliant. The speedo is spot on, so it marries up with the GPS, which is really good. And now I'm just going to settle back and get some supplies at Gundawindi and keep going. Yeah, guess what? I called it too early. So I was just leaving Toowoomba, been through traffic and everything there, and coming out of Westbrook, check engine light, and I've only got the odd gears, first, third and fifth. So not to worry, it's cruising along. I'll put the cruise back on, set it to 103, and the revs aren't too, you know, it's 2750 RPM, it's all good, and the fuel consumption, negligible change. So this is how we're going to do it. So I hate it when you call something too early, but I got nearly 2 hours out of it. So that's awesome. Well, I've just left Gundawindi. I needed to pick up a coffee plunger, coffee and butane gas bottle. I disconnected the battery, found a car park which didn't need reverse, and I walked up to the Mitre 10 and the Coles. Came back and I put the battery cable back on, and the car wouldn't start. It unresponsive to the key. You could hear the shift forks, or the shift rods. You could hear some sort of gearbox activation going on, some sliding back and forth of metallic components, and I kept turning the key to the start position and then back to on, then off, you know, like that. Then I thought, oh, I'll just hold the key in the start position. So I did that, and it took about, goodness me, it took about 10 seconds, and then it finally, starter motor kicked in and off she went. So I'm not going to disconnect the battery again. I've lost my odometer, so I don't know how far I've come yet. I'll just have to use maps if I need to backtrack on that. Yeah, so I'm going to probably fuel up. It says I've got 458 kilometres to go. I'm across the border. I'm in New South Wales now. 34 degrees, so it's a bit warm outside, but everything's functioning well except for this DSG, TCM. Right, enough acronyms. I'm going to put the phone down, Russell, and I am going to just press on. And damn, there's a toilet. I needed one. All good. Okay, we're about 45 kilometres slight amount of oscillation. If I accelerate a little bit, that little flash there, flash up and back down again. Shouldn't be doing that. So just not sure what to do, whether to pull up and let things cool down or just push on. Drop the speed right back, so I'm not stressing things too much. But yeah, it's it looks like up to about probably 50 RPM of slip, and it just slipped then, slipping then, surging. Anyway, you'll be briefed and it will be filmed. Okay, plans evolving. I'm approaching Brewarrina, which is a very small town. It's got a very small airport. I don't think you can get flights out of here. What I'm thinking is this: the clutch is slipping, and I doubt. Well, I'm not certain. I doubt whether it'll climb the pass, Flinders Ranges near Adelaide. It's kind of limping along okay, although it's sort of sliding and flashing between gears, which is not fantastic. So I'm going to shoot for Cobar. Cobar is a little copper mining town. They have daily flights out of there, and there's a flight leaving there tomorrow, and cost is fairly reasonable. So the idea would be to park the car there, fly back to Sydney to Perth, and then load up my car trailer and come and trailer at home. So plans evolving. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I had to pull over. I had pulled over to reset the transmission again to see if that would help, which I did. Got back onto the highway, and then it gave me a transmission warning. It's too hot, and telling me to wait 5 minutes. So I think this might be the beginning of the end, folks. Let this cool down and we'll get going again. So as the day shuts down, we're about 30 kilometres out of Cobar, which was my planned destination for today. I had to pull over and have a nap. I was getting really fatigued, and decided that, best thing to do, just pull over for a power nap, 15 minutes or whatever. So shut everything down, had a power nap, woke up, got going again very shortly after, and the car has been back to its self-healing self. Check engine light's still on, but we're in 6th gear. We've got all the gears, reverse, all that, and I've got the cruise set to 113. 113 gives me 110 GPS speed, which is the limit. So yeah, it's been very pleasant not having to worry about slipping clutches. Remains to be seen whether that's a strategy now. Is if it does fail, pull over, have a rest, and pray to God, and it might come good. Anyway, so I'm going to get to Cobar, do a free camp, and set the tent up and cook a bit of dinner. Okay, here we are at Cobar. This is tonight's camp. It's called the Old Reservoir, and it looks like people enjoy riding trail bikes around. Oh yeah, quick walk around of the car. So yeah, 2012 Ford Focus. I'm not going to describe the automatic transmission to you. It's not the tidiest rig. It's got curb rash on all the wheels. It's got a door dent there and a guard dent. And coming around the back, bit of bumper rub, bit of chafe there, bit of garage door chafe on the tailgate, more curb rash, and then there's a pretty decent rub on the door. But you don't get much for you don't get much for $2,000 these days. It's low mileage. It's only got 44,000, 48,000, something like that, in the 40s, and yeah, so a couple of grand does it. So I'm going to set up and get some dinner going. I'm really tired, so we'll catch you probably in the morning. Okay, I thought I'd do a really quick recap of progress made today. Ignore the green route. This is a motorcycle route, but it's similar. So started at Brisbane, went across to Toowoomba, down to Gundawindi, across the border, down to Moree. I didn't come down to Narrabri. I went across this way to Walgett. Oh, sorry. Yes, to Walgett. And then along here to Burke, and then down here to Cobar. So that's roughly a quarter of the distance. So I've got 4 days like that today. I think it was about 1,100 kilometres. And I got from Brisbane to Toowoomba before my bipolar OCD transmission decided it was going to go on the fritz. So all of this was done with clutches slipping and playing up and giving me bloody visions of being stranded. And then down here on the Kidman Way, got to about here, I suppose, when I really needed a nap. And then literally the 150 Ks down here were done with the transmission back to normal again. So trying a new strat tomorrow. I'm going to at least get to Broken Hill. Tomorrow is Kimber, which is sort of here, and that will be halfway across Australia at that point. So that's the ideal destination. This is going to be tricky if transmission's playing up because it's a mountain range, and there was no torque, no pulling power whatsoever when it was in that mode today. So yeah, if I do find myself out of normal mode, I'll turn the car off. I'll just chill, have a cup of tea or something, and then see if I can't get it to reinstate. It's missing 4 gears. All right, so yeah, $14 tent is getting ready to be put up. I'll crack on with my evening. Well, morning of day 2. The sun is just starting to sneak up, so I'm going to get the tent packed up and get some coffee on and go. Okay, we're about to set off. Change your clothes, a bit of shower in a can. I'm going to get some wet wipes. And yeah, it's just about 5 o'clock, so about 5 to 5, and I'm going to get motoring now. Yeah, last night was pretty okay. I woke up at 3 in the morning, and I was a bit chilly, so I threw the extra blanket on. Surprisingly cool, given how hot it was yesterday. Yeah, so let's go. Let's see how this bad boy can run. Yeah, so we're ripping along at speed limit, 110. Next stop, Wilcannia. No faults.
driving lovely. We'll just we'll see how long she lasts. New strat today. I was thinking of maybe I should get an hour and a half out of it and then shut it down and then start it up again. Would that clear any issue that might be there? I don't know, but it's very pleasant when it's running so well. Pete, Will, everyone else. Sorry, Will, I called you Pete. But there you go, early morning. Yeah, so Wilcannia's about 250, Broken Hill's about 450, and that's pretty much the end of New South Wales once you get to Broken Hill. So yeah, then on to the Flinders Ranges, which is hopefully I've got a good transmission for that, and then into Kimber later this evening. Yeah, really quick update. So been driving all morning for a total of what's the time now? 3.5 hours, nearly 4, and yeah, we're still behaving ourselves. The car's running really well. Been thinking more about the root cause of this issue, and it would seem that when the computer's asked to perform a number of tasks, for example, maintaining cruise control, downhill, engine braking, the right engine brake to apply, like it does shift down again, and that's what it did seconds before it dropped out. So yeah, this is just flat. We got a bit of a mountain here, a bit of a hill. So yeah, as you can see, we're in the outback, heading towards Broken Hill, which is probably the last, we call it the last stand before you leave New South Wales into South Australia. Okay, so this is danger. I left cruise control on and it kicked down 2 gears. So yeah, take cruise control off now. Yeah, so in the outback, and I'll take a rest stop at Broken Hill and maybe a fuel stop as well. Yeah, just thought I'd update. Still no check engine. It actually turns itself off after a few cycles of ignition if there's no fault, which is good. So yeah, that's gone, and all good. Well, day 2, and I've made it to South Australia. 11 AM. Whoa, she's hot at Yunta in South Australia. Yeah, all good. Just stopping here for a bit of a rest break. It's gonna try and kick back and have a quick nap, but it's 41 degrees here at the moment, and I'm in the sun. There's no shade. So yeah, we'll see what we do, but I'm gonna try and go as far as I can today. I might even go past Kimber because I'm making good time. Well, we're coming up to a section which I've been a little bit reluctant to attempt, but I'm still fault free today. So what have we got? 2 plus 7. We're going for almost 10 hours fault free. Yeah, we're coming up to the Flinders Ranges. I'll just see if I can show you. Yeah, so the road will become, there's a pass on the way through, and you've got to you got to change speed. Throttle input's quite a lot. It's uphill, down dale. So it's going to test my ability to kind of try and keep it in the same gear, and take any of the opportunities away from it that would force it to think too hard about what to do with the next gear. So wish me luck. Alright, heading down the other side of the pass, Horrocks Pass, and haven't thrown a fault code. And just to elaborate a little on the strategy here, there are 2 parameters that are really important for the gearbox, otherwise it's guessing, and that is brake input. So if you've got the brake pedal on, it knows that you're probably going to downshift with certainty, so it's not going to be hunting for options. And the other one is accelerator. Push that down and it knows that you're not necessarily going to want to drop down if it's light application. So going up, I held the throttle pretty. I put the fuel instantaneous consumption on, and with instantaneous consumption, you can see a constant flow rate of fuel. So I did that, and it didn't have to downshift or upshift. It just stayed in, I think it was 4th gear, under 2,000 RPM. So that had me a little bit concerned. And coming down, no coasting, no engine braking, just brake pedal all the way down, and that tells it that, hey, I'm not going to be upshifting anytime soon. So anyway, we popped out, I think, the other side, and I am so thrilled that the car has made it. Oh, made it. Made it without throwing a code. So there's Port Augusta in the distance, bloody wind farm, and I'll get back to it. Sit rep, I've arrived in Kimber, safe and sound, and it's 5:15. And there's Ruprecht. Ruprecht's got its new name. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is the movie from which the character is drawn, if anyone knows about that one. Yes, Ruprecht is the slightly retarded character, as is the car. But anyway, it made it 1,250 kilometres without showing me a fault code. So I did the mountain pass, and I did Port Augusta, which is a bit of a city. And I'm tempted to, when I get home, when I'm 100 metres from home, see if I can't generate a fault code. But it's all good now that I know what it needs and what it responds to. So I think it's going to be fairly plain sailing for the next 2 days. I'm halfway across Australia now in 2 days, and they've been big days on 12-ish, 12 maybe 13-hour days. And tonight I have a celebratory bottle of wine for today because I was not stressed at all. Oh, sorry, I was a little. The mountain range was a little bit stressful because I was not sure whether it was going to play up or not, and it didn't. So, celebration time. Here I can have a shower. So over there, there's a person cleaning it at the moment, but a couple of dollars for a shower or whatever, and I'm going to make some lamb kafta tonight and a salad. So I'll bring you over for that. Alright, so the $14 tent's up, and I've got a map for a recap. So, where were we last night? Cobar. So from Cobar through here to Wilcannia and down to Broken Hill, Yunta, Peterborough, Orroroo, Wilmington, across short leg there, across Flinders Ranges, Port Augusta, and down here to Kimber. So that puts me now at the halfway point. So 2 days to go. I'm thinking tomorrow is going to be quite the day. I'm thinking tomorrow is going to be Kimber, all the way along Nullarbor, past Eucla and to Madura, and that will be sort of equivalent to what we've done here today. So 11 or 1200 k's. Got to do equivalent every day, and I'll get there. So there's Perth over here. So yeah, it was nice to have a shower after a couple of days, and now ready after I've set everything up and done some washing up, all clean, ready to get into some dinner. I'll do that while the sun's still shining. Lamb kofta and a little Caesar salad kit. It should be a bit better than braised steak and onion. Windy out. Blew it out. morning of day 3. Well, good morning. Not sure if you can hear the music in the background, but the council, I think, have, well, they lease the halls out here, and that's a bit of aerobic activity, gym session. Yeah, a bit nasally this morning. That bottle of wine hit well, and I went to bed as soon as I pretty much had the last, I was going to say glass, but I had it in a cup. Didn't bring the finest crystal with me. Yeah, so what's the time? It's 6:15, 2.5 hours behind Perth time at the moment. So today we're going to cross the timeline. Mosquitoes. And yeah, dropped 2.5 hours off. So it's actually Perth time, 6:30 minus 2.5 will be the time I leave. 4 in the morning. So I'm going to try and do a reasonably big one today, 12 hours, because there's roughly 2 1100 kilometre days left. So yeah, got to get things happening. Flat road, flat and straight is the name of the game today, nullarbor plain, and yeah, just undulating roads, if you even call it that. So the car should be in its element today. So anyway, I'm going to get on the road, finish my coffee, packed everything up, $14 tents away. I did move it incidentally, what I wasn't aware of. The shower block there, it's got lights all around it, and the tent was there, so it was in full fluorescent. It was in full fluorescent light. So I ended up parking the tent behind the wheelie bin in the shadow of the wheelie bin, and it was absolutely fine. Alright, I'm yabbering on, getting on the road. Okay, we're off. Right on 6:30, had a shower, which I spent 2 minutes of the 4 minutes trying to work out how it worked. So it was cold for half, but it was all good. I had some thoughts about this clutch slipping that I had on day 1 and what the long-term effects might have been. It's driving perfectly fine now, and really what the thought was is how much slippage was there over the course of that few hours. And then I thought, well, you all saw how much oscillation was happening on how much oscillation there was on the tacho, and it was, 50, 60, 70 RPM slip, and then I kind of boiled that down, and it's effectively 1 revolution of slip per second, which isn't much if you think about it. It'd be like, a pepper grinder kind of action, and given that a clutch can easily withstand 2000 RPM of slip, not prolonged obviously, but I don't think there's the upshot of all that, I don't think there's any negative effect as such. I never let it flare. When it was trying to flare, I was saying no thank you. Oh, I think I've gone the wrong way. I'll just do a U-bolt. So, no long-term effects, hopefully. One other maybe comment for people that are watching, that aren't people in my family or myself, is that you may have noticed that my content isn't very well curated. It also, I'm never shouting out for subscribers, which I will never do, because I'm actually not trying to grow a channel as such. I'm using YouTube to capture memories for my family, myself, and friends and other people. So that's really what it's about. Of course, I'm elated for you guys joining in and watching. It's great, but I'm never going to be a videographer trying to make cash out of YouTube. So with all of that in mind, I hope you are enjoying it, and today is another day. So I've already fueled up, so there's no need for that today. And put the phone down, Russell, and we'll get moving. Yeah, just a quick note on the weather today. Something had to break. Yesterday it was scorching hot. When I arrived it was early evening, and it was 37 degrees still, but looks like it's all broken. We've got sun coming up over there. Can't see too much, but yeah, the little fronts come through. Very pleasant. Okay, over off in Ceduna. It's about 9:30, and stopped for a breakfast with champions. So I'm going to get into it and then back on the road. Alright, so still no issue with transmission, and this is one of my favourite places along the South Australian highway system. It's just before the Nullarbor Plain, near Yalata, and you've got the trees just divided by a very straight road. Nullarbor Plain coming up. Well, something quite extraordinary is happening with the weather. It was about 5 kilometres ago it was 36 degrees. It's now 24, so it's dropped 12 degrees in about 5 k's, and it doesn't look all that pleasant for a view out to the ocean, so I'm not going to bother stopping. I've got some good photos of the Great Australian Bight already, and I want to press on. I've got lots of kilometres to do, so cool weather. All right, changed my mind. I've stopped at the lookout. I'm going to go and walk down to the end and have a look. I won't talk, it's too windy, you won't hear me. There's Ruprecht. So across the border into Western Australia. So the time is 3:38 p.m. minus 2 hours 1:18 p.m. Yeah, a couple of things. Firstly, it's raining. A few drops of rain on there. Hope the $14 tent is going to be all right. Last time it rained when I was in that tent, it did leak, but at least I got a dry car I can climb into. Second thing is that the cops pulled me over right at the border, not right at the border, about 5 minutes out of the little border town called Eucla, and they were in a police car and they pulled me over for a license check and a breath test. So if that doesn't give all the impressions of the type of state Western Australia is, keeping us all safe apparently. So yeah, it's an unnecessary pullover in my opinion. But anyway, I had to do a bit of explaining why I was driving a car registered in Queensland. Other than that, a bit of idle chit chat and a breatho. Alright, so I'm going to keep pressing on, given it's 1:30. I'm going to go as far as I can within daylight hours, as per usual. Yesterday I stopped a little bit early for my liking. It was sunshine for probably another hour and a half. And may as well be driving, especially if I can save a long end day. So anyway, I'll get back to it and see you at the campsite. Okay, so this is where we're staying tonight. Knights, N-U-Y-T-S, Knightsland free camp in the Knightsland Nature Reserve. She's a bit bumpy. So we'll try and get in right off the road. We're still probably about 50 minutes from the road here, so looks like this place is at the back here. Might be here all by myself. Do me in here. Lovely. I need to edit some of that out. Alright. Looks like there's spoil piles everywhere. Are we in gold country? Must be. It's a bit chilly. It's about 20 degrees. Alright, so that's it for the drive. No issues. Time to set up. Might grab some dinner. It's a bit early though. I've got 20 to 5. I think the clock needs to go back another half an hour as well. Alright, that's it from me for now. Okay, chef's recommendation for tonight's meal is sausages and vegetables, and I'm just admiring on the fork that medley of sausage vegetable. That's going to be amazing. So off we go. Well, that's an orange treat, and although I brought a knife and a fork, I'm not going to need the knife. Saves on washing up. Brilliant. Well, good morning. It's the last morning of our little travels, and I slept in. Look where the sun is. So yeah, that's it. We're going to get on the road, and I've rushed and packed everything up quickly. It's about it's actually it's about quarter past five, and yeah, hopefully I'll be home by about 6:15. So we'll see how that goes. No coffee this morning. I've got an energy drink in the cooler, and time to get going. Let's do a morning recap before we head off. So I was there Kimber yesterday morning, and travelled to Ceduna, and very soon you get to Nullarbor along here, Yalata, and this is Nullarbor proper. Then you get to Eucla, pulled over by the cops a bit after Eucla, and then Madura, Cocklebiddy, and I'm just on the other side of Cocklebiddy in the green, nature reserve here. So yeah, all that's remaining is this path here to home. There you go. See you on the road. Well, we're at Kaiguna, and this is the start of Australia's longest road. Now Ruprecht just has to not break down and we'll be sweet. Let's go. This road is quite incredible. It just goes on and on and on. It'll be like this for the next, well, I've done 15 minutes. Next hour and a quarter. Just straight. Don't even have to adjust the steering wheel. Still going. It's as far as the eye can see at this point. Oh, an undulation here. I'm in Balladonia for breakfast. I find myself in a museum. Balladonia's claim to fame is its Skylab, which was a satellite. Crashed back to Earth. Did not crash in the ocean, crashed near here. Oh, look at all these paper clippings. Renault. So that's your museum. Yeah, this fella's seen better days. He's not feeling very well. Wow, this might be the closest thing I get to Kransky today. Those are two big sausages. I thought I'd do a quick review on the Ridge Rider cooler / heater box. So it purports to hold things at their intended temperature. It's not on the label, not designed to be a refrigerator as such. Anyway, I've got it in heating mode at the moment, and it apparently will heat up to 65 degrees. So I've got it set there. That's the temperature at which bacteria cannot reproduce and colonize. I've got sausages from breakfast in there. What can I say? It doesn't do anything particularly well. Ridge Rider, no, I think Porcelain Rider might be the more accurate name. A bit into the sausage, it's been in there all day, and it's pretty tepid. It's not 65 degrees. I think it holds just the perfect bacteria growing temperature. So yeah, let's not be using that to keep food fresh. On the chill side, yeah, it's alright. It kind of, yeah, it's better than having your drinks rolling around on the floor in the heat. So there you go, the old Porcelain Rider. Got a road train here. Been trying to get his attention. His indicator seems to be stuck on. You'll see him going around this corner. It's pretty impressive actually. Massive. Hopefully someone hops onto the blower and tells him, because he's not watching his mirrors. I've been doing everything I can to get his attention. I do want to go past, so right, go past. He did turn it off after a little while. There you go, there's your road train. Checking out those clouds. Got some rainbow effect going on there. Oh well, I'm calling it. I've arrived and I'm about 2 kilometres from home, and it's been very, very well behaved. I've had to do a lot of mountain work and coming down the range and uphill down dale. It hasn't thrown a fault code. Could it possibly have been fixed with the lubrication work I did? The clean and lube on the actuator, is that what we're going to claim? I don't know. I can speak as soon as I want now because this is the home straight. Am I game to give it a squirt? That's a fuel light, don't worry. No, I don't want to throw a code on purpose. Yeah, so thanks for following along. I'm sure this story isn't ended, but I think this is it for video of it. And I hope you enjoyed the drama as much as I did. Catch you next time.